Tonight on Q2, trouble on the tracks.
We dive into a federal report outlining what may have caused 10 train cars to plummet into the Yellowstone River 2 years ago.
And the tizzy over Tylenol. President Trump sounds the alarm about the potential dangers of the ingredient found in many medications.
Those with autism are just like all of us. They have important ways that they can make contributions.
Tonight, what doctors might have to say about the risks to pregnant women.
The MTN 530 News starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening. Thanks for starting your week with us. I'm Andrea, Lutz.
And I'm Russ Riesinger. President Donald Trump delivering his major announcement on the autism epidemic just a couple of hours ago.
Well, the president saying the use of acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol during pregnancy, could be linked to autism in children. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says the department is also closely monitoring vaccines, saying 40 to 70% of mothers who have children with autism believe it's due to vaccine injury.
Kenvue, the makers of Tylenol, issued a statement saying acetaminophen does not cause autism. We strongly disagree with any suggestion otherwise and are deeply concerned with the health risks this poses for expecting mothers. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists issued a statement earlier this month saying that pregnant women should continue to use acetaminophen for pain relief.
Well, the claim by the president is also drawing concerns here locally, including from Eagle Mount. That, of course, is a nonprofit providing adaptive activities for children and adults with disabilities.
With more on that, here's our Isabel Sparts.
Through understanding is how we draw empathy, something one local organization embraces every day.
We get to do so much to impact the lives of others in really positive ways.
As the executive director of Eagle Mountain Billings, which creates adaptive activities for those with disabilities, Lynn Maloney Cabrera has grown close with those she serves.
Those with autism are just like all of us. They have important ways that they can make contributions.
A recent national conversation has her concerned. On Sunday night, President Donald Trump announced that the administration had new findings about autism.
I think we found an answer to autism.
During Monday's press conference with Trump and Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., they announced new FDA recommendations on Tylenol use during pregnancy. They said its main ingredient, acetaminophen, can be associated with an increased risk of autism.
Don't take Tylenol.
But acetaminophen is the main ingredient for hundreds of drugs, such as Dayquil, NyQuil, Benadryl, and Midol. The FDA will also approve the prescription of leucovorin, used mainly for cancer patients and chemotherapy to treat autistic children.
I can tell you, for us, we don't look at anyone as needing fixing. We're all humans.
For Cabrera, she worries that the conversations surrounding the disorder put a barrier in front of those who live with it.
I think any of those things that are not evidence-based, but more speculative, I think those are things that really distract from the richness of those neurodiverse individuals in our community.
For now, she says Eagle Mount will continue to advocate for those with disabilities and hopes the conversation can be approached with kindness and compassion for those around us.
I think when we know better, we do better. And in this instance, I feel like we just need to know better.
In Billings, Isabel Sparts, MTN News.
Well, the Montana Rescue Mission seeing more changes at the top. This time, Operations Coordinator Tito Alberin and Program Director Vanessa Bond have been let go. As we reported, longtime Executive Director Matt Lundgren was fired after a human resources investigation. Board member Eric Peterson tells me the departures happened around the same time, but under different circumstances. Max French is now running daily operations while the board launches a national search for a new executive director. The internal investigation, though, that's still ongoing.
A federal investigation is raising new questions about the cause of a 2023 train derailment that sent 10 cars plummeting into the Yellowstone River near Reed Point. That derailment, which happened in June of 2023, spilled 419,000 pounds of asphalt petroleum liquid and 12,000 gallons of molten silver into the river, along with tens of thousands of pounds of scrap metal. MTN's Kagan Harsha has been poring over the findings of the Federal Railroad Administration's investigation. Joins us now with the new details we're learning tonight. Kagan?
Yeah, Russ, and that report is certainly a lengthy one here. This is 483 pages in total, outlining what federal investigators found in the wake of this derailment. Although the findings outlined here do conflict with an investigation conducted by Montana Rail Link, which leads to perhaps more questions than answers.
There's asphalt everywhere. It's covering rocks. It's stuck in willows.
Nearly 2 years have now passed, but this was the scene many encountered in the days and weeks following that 2023 train derailment near Reed Point. Oil and chunks of asphalt littering the river.
As it warms up, it's sticky, and you could see all these like bird tracks around it.
Fast forward to today, and much of that debris is a distant memory. But the derailment is now back in the spotlight following the release of an investigative report by the Federal Railroad Administration. Among its key findings, the 115-year-old bridge was structurally sound. A diver inspected the bridge's piers and found, quote, scour is not believed to be a contributing factor in the cause of the derailment or the collapse.
Unfortunately, the report fails to identify any other potential causes of the derailment. The inspection reports for both the track and the bridge were up to date, but there's one finding in particular that's generated a lot of conversation, and that's around a broken rail identified on the far east end of the bridge down there.
That broken rail, according to a company hired by Montana Rail Link, happened at a spot where two sections of rail had been welded, and according to MRL's investigation, may have played a role in the derailment. This photo clearly shows the gap in the tracks. But the Federal Railway Administration disagrees, saying a broken rail, quote, typically causes a catastrophic pileup that occurs directly near the broken rail. The report goes on to point out that the cars directly over the broken rail were upright, and that the broken weld was nearly 350 feet away from the bridge collapse. Instead, the FRA believes the weld was, quote, likely pulled cleanly apart by the extreme forces presented by the bridge collapsing during the derailment. And the report also rules out mechanical failure of the train. That means that 2 years later, many still have questions.
We're outraged then, we're still outraged.
With the derailment still largely unexplained and no fines or penalties ever levied.
We're going to have another disaster.
Near Reed Point, Kagan Harsha, MTN News.
The Yellowstone River Parks Association spoke with us back in 2023 about their concerns regarding river cleanup. That's who you heard in that story. Well, tonight they're reacting once again, this time to the results of the Federal Railway investigation. In a new statement, the group said, in part, our concerns with the investigation is a lack of full transparency and accountability. The state of Montana should be using every tool at its disposal to make sure our resources are protected and, when they're damaged, fully restored. You can read the full statement along with all of our past coverage on the derailment at ktvq.com.
It's officially the first day of fall, but it actually looked a little bit like winter up on Red Lodge Mountain. Take a look here. Yes, those are snowflakes falling from the sky. That winter-like weather, also at least part of the reason for the iconic Beartooth Highway shutting down today. The Wyoming Department of Transportation closed the highway late this morning because of falling rocks, a car crash, and that snow. While the highway is expected to reopen again, it won't be for long. The road closes for the season right around the first few weeks of October.
Sunshine breaking through with the Stockman Bank weather cam as we take a look out towards Metro Park this afternoon. Temperatures 64 was the warmest, but that was just shortly after midnight, and as cool as 51, and that was during the middle of the day. We picked up 0.19 of an inch of precipitation. Now we're officially into fall, so check out sunrise, sunset, getting pretty close to 12 hours apart. Here's how things shaped up. I mentioned the warmer temperatures right around midnight. The cool down came as the rain showers started to move in. But the recovery in the readings has increased during the afternoon. 0.42 of an inch for you in Livingston today, 1/4 of an inch for you in Cody. And Moreland, you picked up a little precipitation, but remained dry into the eastern plains.
Tonight, the search intensifies in Red Lodge. Police just released a sketch of the man suspected of attacking a woman in a neighborhood street. Police say it happened around 9 p.m. Monday, September 15th near 13th Street East and Platt Avenue. We'll take a look at this sketch. The suspect, described as 5'9", slim build with blonde or auburn facial hair. Investigators say he's in his 20s or 30s and has noticeable acne or pockmarks on his face. Police say that woman was walking home alone when the man tried to grab her and overpower her. So she used a taser to fight him off and managed to get away. But anyone with information is urged to call Carbon County Dispatch.
City Administrator Chris Kukalski will be staying in Billings for now. Kukalski was a finalist for a county administrator job in Ottawa County, Michigan, but that position has now gone to that city's former deputy administrator, Patrick Waterman. According to our Scripps station in West Michigan, the Board of Commissioners approved the hire of Waterman 7-4, despite the fears of some that he will divide the county. Contract terms with Waterman still need to be set.